The Dad.
Rock and roll!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Feel, don't think.
Fear is my ally.
The Force will be with you.
We are encouraged to love. Be mindful of your thoughts.
I will not betray the Republic.
Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
I'm not afraid.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
So this is the sequel trilogy, part 2 of the dissertation of why everything is the way it is. And there are many thousands of people to blame, but when you get right down to it, Kathleen Kennedy is the main culprit, and Bob Iger enabled her for too long, hence why we're at where we're at. Okay? So I say, without further ado, let's get into it. The sequel trilogy is basically a nonsensical pile of disturbing and disparate plot points shoved together under massive set pieces that cost way too much money. But let's first start with The Force Awakens because it's the first one. The Force Awakens, Disney's big return to the galaxy far, far away, and they began by copying A New Hope so many times. The ink ran out of the printer, and half the plot ends up missing. It's not so much a soft reboot as a carbon copy slapped into cinema like a bootleg DVD you'd buy off a vendor in a back alley in Chinatown in New York City. Rey is introduced as a scavenger, which is Star Wars means somebody who lives in a desert, eats beige food, and stares wistfully at the horizon like they're waiting for a bus that doesn't exist. Rey's force powers arrive faster than Amazon Prime same-day delivery. She goes from what is the Force to I can defeat an unstable goth with a glow stick in about 45 minutes. And then there's Kylo Ren, the only villain in cinema history who seems like he'd cry if you didn't like his Spotify playlist. He's supposed to be terrifying, but he fights like a man trying to stab a spider in the bathtub while holding a scented candle. Die by my balsam and cedar, you fiend! He's basically Darth Vader if Darth Vader had failed his GREs and started a band called Emotional Collapse. That's Kyle Ron, their big villain. And the First Order. Oh, the mighty First Order. They're basically space Nazis, reimagined by a group of interns who only read a Wikipedia article. And their big weapon is another Death Star, except it's bigger. Because apparently the galaxy has only one architect, and he keeps remodeling the same house, just adding more rooms. If The Force Awakens was a copy of the original trilogy, The Last Jedi is a copy of The Morning After Jägermeister and A Hangover. It's a film that doesn't subvert expectations. It mugged them in an alleyway and stole their shoes. Let's start with Luke Skywalker. The greatest hero in sci-fi history is now living on an island, acting like a man who's divorced everything: people, hope, laundry. When Rey meets him, he behaves like he's been alone so long, he's forgotten what humans look like. He drinks milk straight from a giant alien sea cow, straight from the critter, with the satisfied grin of a man who's finally found a hobby. And there's the casino sequence, a subplot so aggressively pointless it could be bottled and sold as essence of bureaucracy. It's like the film pauses the main story to show you a PowerPoint about equine welfare and rich people being naughty. It adds nothing, it explains nothing, it contributes nothing. It's a cinematic equivalent of a pop-up advert shouting, "Before you continue saving the galaxy, have you considered space horse ethics?" And as a horse racing fan, I found it to be completely ignorant and insulting. And then there's Snoke, the big, powerful bad guy. Ancient, mysterious, killed in 5 seconds like he slipped on a wet floor in the villain union break room. He spent 2 films building him up and he dies just like he's been caught, leaving the oven on. By the time you get to the trilogy's final chapter, the plot is moving so fast, it's essentially a narrative landslide. You're not watching a story. You're clinging to it like a man who's fallen out of a helicopter and grabbed the rope ladder with his teeth. The opening crawl basically admits defeat. Somehow, Palpatine returned. It's not a plot point. It's the kind of thing your mate says after finding his ex in the pub he swore she'd never visit again. Palpatine's survival is explained with the storytelling finesse of a child claiming, "I didn't break the vase, it exploded because it was tired." Exegol, his secret planet, looks like the galaxy's dodgiest electrician workshop. A warehouse full of Sith hooded cloaks staring at him like they're waiting for a raffle to be drawn. And the film is so desperate to fix everything The Last Jedi did. It plays like an apology tour, except the apology is written on the back of a napkin and set on fire. And as far as an apology goes, it only made things worse, because it didn't fix anything. It was just retaliation for Rian Johnson's mess. Rey being a Palpatine is the most chaotic family twist since Jerry Springer went off the air. She's gone from nobody to the granddaughter of intergalactic Satan, like someone hit a randomizer button on her Ancestry.com profile. I mean, how hard was it to keep the Skywalker saga and make her the daughter of either Han and Leia or Luke or some such? No, instead we got Rey Palpatine because J.J. Abrams is about as creative as my dog's droppings. And then here's the moment we all laughed and gagged at the same time. The Reylo kiss, that final kiss. A moment so lacking chemistry, it could be studied by physicists. You could store vaccines in the emotional temperature of that kiss. It's like watching 2 sourdough loaves gently collide. And the ending, where Rey declares herself a Skywalker, is the narrative equivalent of someone turning up at your house, smelling your dinner and saying, "This is lovely, I live here now." Or me deciding I didn't want to be a girl anymore, but I wanted to be a Manolo Blahnik, Black Mary Jane Pump. It's that stupid. The Disney sequel trilogy isn't a story. It's like a fridge full of leftovers from Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's congealing into something completely unedible 4 months after the meals were over. That's how bad it is. Han Solo, legendary hero, rebel leader, smuggler, reduced to separated father whose main contribution is being stabbed in the chest by his own son like a dog on a catwalk. The son who's dressed like a Hot Topic manager doing a Darth Vader cosplay. Leia, fearless leader, diplomat, revolutionary princess, reduced to standing around looking worried and occasionally whispering Rey like she's trying to remember where she put her keys. And of course, let's not forget the inexplicable way they treated the relationship between Han Solo and Princess Leia, because we got to find out all kinds of bad things about the writers' situations with their parents, period. Instead of letting the relationship go on, continue naturally, normally, we got drunk deadbeat dad Han Solo and Leia, I don't know who the hell she was, but it wasn't consistent with the original trilogy, the characters, and anybody who'd read outside of the films, the EU, was pissed off. But hey, let's just ruin everything that made those 2 characters worthwhile. Each other. Let's just take everything that they were and destroy it, because the new audience, whoever that is, who gives a shit? Consistency? What consistency? And Luke, the sequels treated him with the same affection you'd give a wasp trapped behind a curtain. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't surprise me. because she hates men. The man who saved the galaxy is now a hermit who looks like he's given up on everything, including his pants. It's like they said, let's take the most hopeful character in film history and turn him into a man who drinks alien milk, throws lightsabers around like he's skipping rocks. The sequels didn't just disrespect the legacy, they reversed engineered it into confetti of ashes. I mean, again, how hard would it have been just to be consistent with the character? Mark Hamill himself said the fans wouldn't like it. And oh my God, he was right. You think? But hey, if you have to actually spend money to have these characters in your films, why just get rid of them? Let's talk about the prequels versus the sequels. The prequels, for all their wooden, clunky dialogue and political dissertations, at least had vision. They expanded the galaxy. They had worlds that looked alien, vibrant, strange, and imaginative. The sequel's idea of a new planet is, what if the last one, but with slightly different sand? Prequels gave us the tragedy of Anakin, the rise of Palpatine, and the fall of the Old Republic, a grand opera where every thread mattered. The sequels gave us a plot written on the back of a beer mat. Palpatine's back because science. Rey's related to him because reasons. The resistance is small, then big, then small again because the shrug emoji. Prequels tried, really tried. They swung for the fences. The sequels saw the fences and went, no thank you. We will simply run face first into a tree. What the sequels did to the franchise. The sequels just didn't misunderstand Star Wars. They treated it like it was a malfunctioning IKEA wardrobe they had to take apart and rebuild without any of the original screws. Every film contradicts the one before it. Characters teleport across the galaxy like they've got unlimited Uber credits, thanks to Pablo Hidalgo. Whole plot lines appear, vanish, reappear, explode, get resurrected, then vanish again. It's like watching someone try to juggle, except they're using Fabergé eggs and they're wearing oven gloves soaked with olive oil. The sequels didn't continue the franchise. They vandalized it, graffitied the walls, spray paint on the lore, and a giant neon sign blinking, please clap. You can practically hear the original trilogy sobbing from across the galaxy. The prequels are somewhere muttering, say what you want about us, but at least we had a plot. The sequels are the cinematic equivalent of someone handing a priceless vase to a friend and watching them use it as a mug to heat soup in the microwave, or whiskey and car keys to a 10-year-old, or there's so many allusions to what it's equivalent of, I can't even. It's like handing someone Man o' War and them turning him into a plow horse, which actually makes kind of sense. The worst part is they had the keys to the kingdom. They had Disney's billions. They had the legacy. They had the fan base. They had decades of lore, the EU, everything else. And they walked into the greatest franchise ever created, as great, in my opinion, as Lord of the Rings ever was, and treated it like a hotel minibar they could trade and charge someone else's room. I mean, that's what it was. And I'm flabbergasted. It's taken 12 years for Disney to finally realize how badly they screwed up letting this happen. They turned Star Wars, at least the sequel trilogy, into a dumpster fire. Let's not even talk about Solo, The Acolyte, and or any of the rest of the garbage. Steph sending out. See you around the galaxy.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station.
Very bad feeling about this.